Jannik Sinner gets his revenge and defeats Andre Rublev. He's into the semi-finals, and it's not good news for Jack Draper. He loses in straight sets to Holger Rune. This is me and Ben's semi-final preview.
That's right, it is the semi-finals. Finally, we've got there, and it's been an entertaining tournament, this one, with some very, very high-level tennis. But you got it right. Jannik Sinner, he got the revenge on Andre Rublev. It was a close match. We both said it would be 3 sets, which it was. But are we starting to see the signs now that Jannik Sinner's now moving back towards the top of the game? Isn't it funny? There's this narrative running. Who is the better player? Alcaraz, Sinner. And they sort of keep swapping positions because Sinner looked really good, and he looks like he's in that form right now where he was at the beginning of the year again. And maybe that little bit of time off he had was what he needed to get back to full fitness. So let's speak about that match first, if we shall. Bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, as a whole, my quarterfinal predictions weren't too bad on the men's. I called Sinner beating Rublev. I had Zverev beating Shelton. I think the sets were not right on any of them, really, but I definitely got the right results. I had Tiafoe defeating Hurkacz. The only one I got wrong was, of course, Jack Draper. He lost very comfortably to Holger Rune, and I didn't see that one playing out like it did. But let's focus on this one, the battle of the Gingers. And the match started with both of them having a sleep. I don't know if you saw that.
I did indeed. Here we go. So this is
they're both ready for the Cincy quarterfinal. You got Sinner there having a sleep, Rublev having a sleep, and the quality was very good. Surprisingly, I mean, it wasn't a lackluster, tired affair like it looked like in the build-up. They hit some really good shots. Rublev kept his cool, which was nice to see. Sinner didn't seem to have too many problems. And now, 9th Masters semi-final for Jannik Sinner, his 4th Masters semi-final of 2024. And this is maybe him getting back on the horse again, back into the form. We saw he had a wobbly few months, didn't go to the Olympics, which caused a bit of pressure on him. But Jannik Sinner, he's back into a big semi-final, maybe the favourite on paper. I still fancy Zverev's chances, like I said the other day. And very assured performance, considering Alcaraz was nothing like that at all. At least we've got one of the two of them doing well.
Yes, we definitely do. And he becomes the first Italian man ever to reach the Cincinnati semi-finals in doing so as well. I thought the most impressive thing about this result was the fact he came back from a set down against Andre Rublev and getting the revenge as well. That was a very important thing. When he lost to Rublev in their last match, people were starting to question, is Sinner now just going to drop off from the top of the sport now, and is he going to take a bit?
No one was saying that, though.
There was a little bit of that in there. That people were starting to. There was a little murmur, little people going,
what do you mean drop off the thing? I don't think anyone suggested that. I think you said it, actually.
People seeing him lose, and people seeing him lose in that fashion, it wasn't the Sinner we were used to seeing. I'm glad that he still has that level in him. He's proved he's back to another semi-final, and I actually think he's got to be the favourite probably for this tournament now after beating Andre Rublev. I thought it was an impressive performance. Once he won that second set, for me, I thought he was a shoo-in to win the whole thing, and I thought the writing was on the wall. When he's playing like that, he's a very, very dangerous player, and he has the mental edge on a lot of his opponents going into those third sets. So I was impressed, and especially by one of the points where he seems to do this a lot. He does it on the grass. Now he's doing it on the hard court. He rolls on the floor, gets back up, and then still wins the point against Andre Rublev. I mean, this is the position he won the point from. It's just, that's the Sinner we know and love and want to see on the tennis court. When he's playing like that, I mean, he's a really exciting player. I don't care what anybody says, saying he's a little bit robotic, he's a little bit plain. No, I think he does have exciting shots. He's got power and he's got speed. And look, he rolls around and he still wins the point as well.
Yeah, I think him and Alcaraz are both capable of this, and they do it often, it seems. I guess Fakina does, but maybe not so much recently.
Not-
He rolls around and
Not the
sometimes
same
messes
results.
it up. Tsitsipas likes to roll around on the clay,
Yeah.
but you don't see these guys rolling around on the hard courts like you do with Sinner. Most ATP top 10 wins now in 2024. Jannik Sinner's got 8 of them. Alcaraz also with 8. Zverev 5, Medvedev 5, Dimitrov 5, Dimonor 5. And this is always a really good statistic, I think, because it shows the informed players of the year. And Djokovic isn't there because he's not really been that informed this year. He's had probably one of his worst seasons, despite winning Olympic gold. That, of course, was the one of the biggest moments of his career, sort of completing tennis. But beside from that, he's not looked very consistent at all. And you'd have to look at these sort of 6 players as probably the 6 most consistent, the best performers. And it shows in the fact that if you're able to beat the top 10 players, then you are someone who is playing at a really high level, because all of them are so good. And Zverev, he's creeping on up there. I mean, next for him, is it Jannik Sinner?
Yes, it is. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, we're going to give a preview in a second, but yeah, it's a tough match historically between the two. Zverev seems to always get the better of him. And Zverev has a real good shot of making that now number 6, top 10 wins.
Yeah. He's got his eye on trying to get number 2 in the rankings as well. So he's got his eye on a lot of things at the moment. And it was a really competitive match, more competitive than I thought it would be against Ben Shelton in their quarterfinal. It went all the way to the wire and 3 sets, but he also had to come back from a set down as well. He's done exactly what Sinner did. Makes his 19th career ATP Masters semi-final. That ties with Burdick and with Hewitt. And his 52nd win of the year. I mean, that's a lot of wins. I mean, he's been playing some fantastic stuff this year. 2 wins away from ATP number 2. And that ties his career high and faces the world number 1. I'd like to see some stats on his results against world number 1s. If anyone's got them, ping it over to us. What do you reckon of this matchup against Shelton?
Well, before you say that, I'm surprised he's the leader for the most wins. I thought it would have been maybe either a Sinner or an Alcaraz, but yeah, credit to Zverev. I think that is also testament to the fact that his body's held up quite well this year. He's not had injury problems like we've seen in the past, and he's played a lot of events, so he's finding maybe that form, what we saw from him just before he rolled his ankle at Roland Garros against Rafael Nadal a few years back.
Yeah,
he's back in that kind of pomp, and yeah, more wins than anyone this year. The question you asked was about what? Sorry,
Shelton, and about the match. Were you surprised that this went to 3?
Not that surprised. Shelton was so hyped up. He was so pumped. We was watching some highlights earlier, us both, and you could see the crowd were really getting behind him. Zverev is never going to really get a crowd, especially in America, I feel, playing an American. And Shelton looked so comfortable. And there were some really big moments in that second set where if Shelton was able to take them, you never know. It could have been a victory for him. And I think he was doing it purely off the adrenaline. And he is someone who requires a crowd, Shelton. He plays to it. He's a bit of a showman. And everything was going well for him. Zverev might hit a few into the net when he didn't need to. And it was a tight match. Shelton's a fantastic player. He is a future top 10 player, future top 5 potentially, future Grand Slam in him for sure. So one of the exciting young talents, and I don't think it's that bad for Zverev to drop a set. And on other days you can lose. I think I will predict now that we are going to see Shelton win Cincinnati probably in the next 3 years.
I think that's a good prediction, that one. And somebody who has already won it before is Sasha Zverev. Obviously, he got to the semi-final last year. We didn't have it the year before, but the year before that, he won it. So you see his results up till then were awful, really. First rounds and second rounds. Then he won it. And then the semi-final last year. He is the best player at this tournament that's left in the tournament. There's no hiding that fact. Jannik Sinner himself, he hasn't done well at this tournament before. Here's Jannik Sinner's second round, third round, second round. I mean, and now semi-final. So looking quite good now. But he has changed, turned the corner, let's say, since last year. So I would expect the results to pretty much stay around the semi-final mark at least for the rest of his career, if I'm perfectly honest, unless other people come through. Just moving over now to the next matches, because we want to speak about Holger Rune and we want to speak about Frances Tiafoe. Probably more to digest with Holger Rune than there was with the Tiafoe match. And Holger Rune, this is the one match we both got wrong. I thought Jack Draper was looking like pretty tasty, but this just goes to show how well Gael Monfils did against Holger Rune, because he took him to 3 after beating Alcaraz in the same day.
Yep.
And Holger Rune made light work of Jack Draper. His power shots weren't effective against Holger Rune. The defensive tennis was there on show, and he has like every shot in the book when he's playing well. Volleys, great ground shots, and great temperament. I was really impressed.
Yeah, I like what you said about Monfils. I think that's a really good take to take away, because Monfils to beat Alcaraz and then run Rune close on the same day just shows the level Monfils is performing at the moment. He's performing way above top 10 level, and he's playing extremely well. So you don't want to play Monfils at the moment. And with Rune, I think it was really good to see clarity and decisiveness in his shots. He had a plan, he had a vision. He wasn't making so many errors. He was very confident and assured. He was coming to the net, finishing off some nice volleys. I know we both really liked the shot where he hit the big forehand into the corner, come in, little half volley the other way, perfect. And it was decisive. He had a clear vision in his head. And when Holger Rune plays this flawlessly, that is when we talk about him as a contender for these big events. He's up there with an Alcaraz and Sinner. He's dropped off definitely for all of this year, but when he performs like he is at the moment, he's in the conversation, and he's another one who can actually go and win this event based off how he's playing. And I didn't see much of him, I must admit, before this last match, because I wasn't sure what Rune was going to expect, and I was expecting more of the same. But now we are seeing a really good level, then he's a contender. Beating Jack Draper, someone he lost to when we was there watching them both live at UTS. And Draper didn't play that bad, but just come up against a very good player.
Yeah, most definitely. The first Danish man ever to reach the Cincinnati semi-finals as well. We've got obviously Sinner being Italian, the first Italian. We've got the first Dane over here.
They're both going to keep doing that, by the way, on all these events, because it's rare to get such a good player from Italy and Denmark.
Exactly. And this was his route, just in case. I know you're just speaking about it. Berrettini, never an easy match for anyone. To have that as your first match of the tournament, I think he did well. Gave him the confidence, I think, going forward. Borges in straight sets, then the Monfils one in 3. So it's quite a difficult tournament for Holger Rune to come through that. If he manages to get past Frances Tiafoe, who's playing in good form in America, I think he has a very, very good chance of winning this whole entire tournament. When he's playing well, Holger Rune in a Masters, we've seen him do it before. He can beat the likes of Djokovic in a Masters final. So if he's in that type of style of form and confidence, beware to Frances Tiafoe.
One thing we need to take into consideration is we may even get a final, which is a repeat of that Montreal match there, Rune-Zverev, in which Zverev beat him straight set. So they're two really informed players. That could be a final. I don't want to dismiss Sinner too much. And if it does, are we going to see Rune get some revenge?
Yeah, it will be interesting. And look how bad his form's been in Cincinnati.
Who's this one? Tiafoe?
This one is Frances Tiafoe. And then Holger Rune here as well.
Go back to Tiafoe quickly. He's never got to a quarterfinal. Oh, he's got to a few quarterfinals. He doesn't do very well, does he, in Masters?
This is what I mean. Like, the only person in this tournament who's left, who's done well at Cincinnati, is Sasha Zverev. And that in the past, obviously, they're on the semi-final at the moment, but he's the only one.
Different now.
Yeah, exactly. Sinner is different now. I think Holger Rune, he's grown as a player as well. I mean, you can see him, though. Look, I mean, he's won the Paris Masters. You got a couple of finals in there and a couple of quarterfinals. So he's definitely a lot stronger when it comes to Masters events. Can he make the final again? This is the big question. Frances Tiafoe, that out of everybody there, that's definitely the easiest matchup for all those 4 players. guaranteed. I mean, yes, he got past Hurkacz, but we're not really sure. What was it really even a difficult match? Because Hurkacz was injured. He pulled out after the first set anyway, so we don't really know.
Yeah, but Tiafoe's been playing well in the build-up as well.
He has,
He's had some good matches. I liked when he just come out on court. I don't know if you saw it with his headphones. Walked down the tunnel, got to the court, saw it was raining, was like, nope. Turned around, went back up the stairs and was like, nope, not playing here today. That's probably the highlight, in fact, of the Tiafoe Hurkacz match. Let me know your highlight in the comment section below. I just like Tiafoe entering the court and being like, nah, not today, not with the rain. And it was like they was trying to usher him back onto the court, but he was like, nah, not doing this. You can't dismiss him. He just can turn up in odd events, and in America could be dangerous here. He could be terrible in the next event. He may lose opening round at the US Open. Doesn't matter who he plays. He could go and win the US Open. We see he had that really good run where he lost to Alcaraz, was it, in the end, beating Nadal that year. But, yeah, you just don't know what to expect. I mean, loses to Bio, then goes on and beats Lehechka. And just, difficult one. Beats Rublev just before that. Strange player, Frances Tiafoe. And in that matchup, I don't know if you want to do your predictions now.
Yeah, let's first off, before we do the predictions, I'm just going to show you a head-to-head.
Okay.
Tiafoe and Holger Rune will start with first. There you go. There's the head-to-head. They've never played. So a nice head-to-head. And now we can give a prediction on that match.
I actually really am excited for it. I think it's going to be interesting because Tiafoe, if he plays against an inspired Rune, I think he's going to raise his level somewhat. And we may just see a clash of two fantastic, hard-hitting, aggressive tennis players. The athleticness of both of them is incredible as well. From a spectator's point of view, it could be a really good three-set classic. And I'm going to have Holger Rune winning in 3 sets.
Nice. Yeah, Holger Rune, I feel, has more tools to get him over the line in this one. Frances Tiafoe will have the crowd, but Holger Rune, I think, has the ability and I think the volleying may be a really big factor in this one. I'm going to be going for Holger Rune, but I'm going straight sets. I think I was so impressed with what he did against Jack Draper. The power of Tiafoe is only good if it doesn't come back, but Draper was powerful for the first few rounds. As soon as it starts coming back, he doesn't know where to go after that. So I'm really interested. We're both going for Rune in that one.
I feel like you've been stung by Tiafoe, though, in Montreal, because you had him beat him to BO. You had him going pretty far because he was in good form.
True.
He was going off the good form. And now you're going against him, because didn't you have Hurkacz beating him in the last round as well?
Yes, I did.
The karaoke man.
The karaoke king. Hurkacz. Right, let's get on to this one. Zverev versus Sinner. A lot tougher to pick this one for me. I know that the other ones, people are going to be saying, Tiafoe's got a chance as well, but yeah, I see it that way. Right, you can go first on this one as you went first on the other one as well.
I don't know. I think it's a really tough one to call. I'm going to be consistent with what I've been saying throughout the week, and that is I think Zverev will win. It's going to be a tight match again, and it's going to be 3 sets, Sasha Zverev to defeat Jannik Sinner. I would like to see Sinner win. He'll be who I'm cheering, and it'll be good to have either him or Alcaraz always repping the young, new players coming through in these big matches. We do have Rune there who can also do that job, but yeah, I feel Sinner's not going to win it. I'm going to have Zverev in 3.
Zverev in 3. And I meant to put this up just before. I know you mentioned it briefly earlier. The head-to-head between the two is 4-1 in favour of Sasha Zverev, and he has won the last 4 as well. So Sinner won their first ever meeting at Roland Garros, and then the last one, if you remember rightly, was US Open, round of 16, 5-set thriller in which Sasha Zverev was the victor.
It's every year they play, isn't it? They're due one.
Yeah,
they have one match a year. In 2020, they had double ones, but
exactly right. So I'm going to be going. I was sort of on your bandwagon until the Rublev match, but that Rublev match has changed the way I'm thinking about this one. I'm actually thinking Jannik Sinner Now he's got to the semi-final. He's going to turn up, and I think he will win this, and he will win it in 3 sets as well. I think it'll be tight sets. I think there'll be a tiebreak in there, as per usual with these two players. We normally see tiebreaks and holds of serve, but I'm going for Sinner in 3 and the Sinner-Rune final.
Okay, and in terms of rankings, Ben, if Zverev gets to the final, wins this match, does he then, or does he become world number 2? Or does he need to win Cincinnati?
He needs to win Cincinnati to be able to do it. If he just wins this next match, he goes up to number... Let me just have a check. No, he doesn't even go up if he wins the next one. He has to win it.
Understood.
To go up.
And with Sinner, he can't drop down yet, can he? From number
Jannik
1.
Sinner, no, he's got a healthy lead at the moment.
I think he's doing all right. But there we go. We'll bring you some more updates on the rankings as and when we know more. But thanks everyone for watching. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll be back for our semi-final roundup of what happened and how right or wrong we were, and of course a final preview as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon.